Oh yes, snacks. Can't do without snacks. It wouldn't be a real studio if you didn't. Every week, each student has a responsibility to bring in snacks or soda. Here are some of the games that I purchased. These were either bought brand new or ding and dent over the holidays. So we've got some classics here like Seven Wonders, which I love as a teaching game. King of Tokyo, really, really popular right now. We've got some larger box, big butt games here. Here's one of my absolute favorites for teaching, Fuse by Ken Clanko. It's great. Right next to that, we see Dungeon Roll by fellow St. Louis and Chris Darden. But the classics, too, I've got Puerto Rico in here, Carcassonne somewhere, and how did that get in there? Anyway, despite a little self-plug right there, I'm really, really impressed with X-Wing's production qualities, and that's one of the things that we're going to be talking about over the course of this class. It is called Board Game Production and Processes, so we're going to take a look at all the different ways and all the different steps and all the different bits and pieces involved in actually taking a game from the idea all the way to when a person opens it up. We've got a really large area to work with. We've got some individual cubes and cabinet areas. We've got plenty of seating and we can rearrange. They've got Xbox and PlayStations here. There are even more rooms and space in the back. Stout also has a really nice little prototype lab, so shout out to thegamecrafter.com and some other sponsors who've been really, really helpful, providing us with plenty of different bits and pieces. Many of you may recognize some of these between cards, chits, tokens, gems, a little bit of everything here, tons of dice, cubes, a lot of what you would want to have on hand when you're prototyping. Speaking of prototyping, that's going to be one of the big focuses of what we're talking about over the course of the semester. And so I ended up bringing a bunch of my own prototypes along just to show that they don't have to be fancy, they don't have to be perfect. Some of them I spent more time on than others, some of them are more polished than others. But overall, the main key is to get that prototype down and to start working on it. Oh, look over here, we've got some Expo markers, my favorite, and of course just a few colors won't do, so I had to get the huge variety pack, but that also means that there are whiteboards all over the place. I love it. One of the things that I really like about this room are these huge rolling whiteboards. You can see here that they've got wheels attached to them and we can pick them up, roll them around, move them all over. So this is for UW Stout Winterm 2017. Board game production and processes. This will be the second time that I teach this class. I've got 20 students signed up for it. Really excited. Some of the things that we're going to do over the course of the class, we're going to reverse engineer some games. So they're each going to get a big box game on day one and crack the wrap open, take everything out, and try to figure out from the time they opened it to the time it was an idea, how many people were involved, how many steps were involved, and how much it cost. Part of that is going to be developing Gantt charts to be able to show system and process flow. We're going to do some hands-on development as well. Last year we developed two games. The Turing Test was one, which was a social development game, and then Wrath of Vesuvius, which was a 2 to 4 player tile-laying strategy game. We worked on them all winterm, and then we built physical prototypes of them. Wrath of Vesuvius got picked up by Punch It Entertainment. Turing Test is being self-published now, but basically at the end of last year, all of the students had something that they had physically contributed to. Another big part of the class, reliance on industry experts. I reached out to a lot of friends that I have in the industry, and they were very, very gracious with their time. So I've got the owner of a local game store who's going to talk about basically what and how you keep things in stock, margins, costs, setup. A lot of different media people, from video and podcasts to a lot of different ways that they interact with the games and get them, very recently now, since it's a global industry, how do you interact with an entire global market? Got some designers too, from small games to large games, to be able to talk about it. Some very, very talented freelancers who are going to tell us what it's like to actually be a freelancer for a living, the sorts of mindset that you have, how you go about creating an invoice, all the different day-to-day elements, art direction, and some other asset direction and development, and all of these other processes that are a big of this larger piece of the puzzle. And then finally, budgets too. So I was really, really fortunate that some of my friends at different companies actually gave me their budget sheets. So we're going to be able to look at and draw from actual industry budgets. So I'm really, really fortunate to be able to teach this class as well as be able to teach it the way I want to by basically focusing on a little bit of everything there. All right. Well, I apologize for the shakiness of it, but I appreciate your time. And if you're interested about what I'm doing with board game production and processes, there it is.